Since last week's video, I have been fairly busy with reading up on ways to handle procedural generation, but I did find some time to add a few things, including different status bars and ways to harvest oxygen. Originally, I didn't know where to start this week, so after a bit of thinking, I decided to finish scripting the refiner from a few weeks ago. The script was already working for refining ore, but I wanted to give it the ability to be picked up and moved around so players can arrange the hub how they want. I went ahead and copied parts from the resource collector script that related to grabbing the harvester, as well as parts from the inventory script, and renamed them to be about the refiner. When I went to test dropping the refiner on the ground, it ended up losing the ability to display the text boxes. It turned out that because I have the text boxes disabled at the start of the game, the instantiated refiner was not able to find the text boxes by their tag. After a good 30 minutes of trying to find a way to make it work, my solution was to set both text boxes as a child object to some empty objects on the canvas. I then set each of those parent objects to the tag the script is looking for, and removed the tag from the text boxes. In the script, when it wants to disable or enable one of the text boxes, it uses the object it finds with the tag, and grabs the text and the child and then sets it true or false. And with that, the refiner is done for now. After adding the first alien into the game a few weeks ago, there has been a need to set up a health bar for the player, so I chose that to be the next thing to work on. The game also has armor that can be purchased and upgraded, so rather than making a second script, I scripted the armor with the health system. Health bars are in so many games that over the past year of making prototypes, this script was fairly fast to write. Since the game has an oxygen system as well, I added that in the same way as the health and armor. I then made some very quick placeholder art in Krita for all three bars, and made the container for the health bar slider on the canvas. Since the health bar is the same as the other two, I just copied it but changed the art for the slider, and then dragged each slider into the health script. When I had scripted the first alien, it was already doing damage to the player, so I changed where the damage is checked, and I also added a slight delay before it damages anything in the area, so the player has a bit of a window to run. After this was added, I needed to set up the animation on the player for their death in the animator. Currently, the project is using the same sprites as the Game Jam game, so I used the death animation that I'd already made and set it up in the project. I still wanted to get a bit more done this week, and since the oxygen bar is now in the game, there needs to be a way to obtain more oxygen as it's depleting. For now, I made some quick art for a plant and also a leaf that goes with the plant, and set it up almost identically to how the ore clumps work. Only instead of exploding with ore, it explodes with leaves. And on the leaves I added a script that checks for the player collision, and if so, it gives the oxygen to the bar. I also used the same script on a particle system with a trigger collider to make pockets of oxygen the player can walk over. That's all that was done this week, but next week I want to work on the UI elements for crafting and refining, as well as getting the main workstation into the game. But until next week, take care.